what you want. You say your woman is what you need. So I'ma let you have it. One thing I gotta see. Come real close, feel the beat now and dance with me. Show me what you got, 'cause there's only one chance with me. You only got one chance. You only got one chance with me. You only got one chance. You only got one chance with me. 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 Dance, work your body, work your body. Dance, only if you got it, only if you got it. Dance, work your body, work your body. Dance, only if you want it, only if you want it. Come real close, feel the beat now and dance with me. Show me what you got, 'cause there's only one chance with me.
Corporate, you wanna dance, we can make it happen. My heart will open up for the main attraction. I was told never put your eggs in one basket, but I'll drop everything just to get it cracking. One time for the DJ. This for girls who keep turning 25 on their B-day. I see you got the attention of every man, but I'll still be the one if you leave it up to chance.
Show me what you got, 'cause there's only one chance with me. You got more proving to do on the floor, so just dance with me. You only got one chance. You only got one chance with me. You only got one chance. You only got one chance with me. 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 Welcome, welcome. I've been talking the whole time and I'm mute. Ain't nobody tell me. I'm mute, Craig. Ain't nobody tell me. I'm mute the whole time. Listen, welcome, 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 y'all, to 𝗪𝗵 Talks. I'm so excited to have y'all on tonight. Listen, I'm just excited to have my special guest on tonight, Craig Hutchinson. Oh my God, y'all. Listen, first of all, I need y'all to like and share, comment your name so we can shout you out, and like, share, because this baby, honey, hunty, this is going to be good tonight. I need y'all to, real good. Okay, Craig, real good. I'm just so excited for this tonight. Listen, like, share, and we're going to dive in at the 4-minute and 30-second on my end. That's including the countdown. So y'all join in. I'm just so excited for this tonight because this is gonna be so good, like incredibly good. And y'all, I've known this man. Give y'all a little backstory. He is from 𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗽𝗽𝐺, isn't that right?
Yep, 𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗽𝗽𝐽.
Born and raised, honey. And listen. We come from the same place, honey. He used to play. You still play the piano, like great, amazing. Like he was the guy we call for every evening service. Fill in. Listen, Craig, what you doing Sunday? The musician came, so can you come in, sir? Can you stop by? Listen, all the time, and it's just an honor and a pleasure to have him on, y'all. I'm so excited for this topic because sometimes, listen, when I tell y'all, this is just amazing. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and stop talking. Go ahead and give the people something about you.
Well, of course, you know, I'm born and raised Hemingway, South Carolina area.
Gang.
Oh yeah. Grew up in the country, like I said. You know, we you know, church together.
Yeah.
We experienced a lot of things through church
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Listen, I'm excited. Listen, to have you on. This is really good. So I'm gonna just dive in with this. And Craig, y'all know Craig is really soft spoken. But honey, on this topic on today, the man of God had a lot to say. And I was just shocked because some of the things we were talking about, like on the live previously, you were already going through your moments of realizing certain things in the church. So my first question is, as a musician, how did you see manipulation?
As a musician, like me myself saw a lot of the manipulation through, the money, the control. As a musician, like that last night of service, a revival, we're packing up. We hear the things that y'all don't hear, well, everybody else don't hear, because everybody's going home and they're, quote unquote, high in the spirit.
Yeah.
Here, the fights over who's getting the money, who's this, who's that, and
oh wow. And to me, like, to you, how did that change your scope on things? What position did that put you in? Did you know about manipulation previously, or was that like the first time you actually saw
it? It exposed me, that being a musician in the church exposed me to a lot of the manipulation, because of course sometimes as musicians we get manipulated and get the rough end of the stick, where we get overlooked, we get, they don't want to pay musicians, but
yeah.
A musician say, well, I'll come for the service for 200 or 150 or what have you, and
yeah,
churches make a big deal, but that preacher that's going to come and raise 5,000 a night in that offering and then leave the church with $50, you pay them high dollar to come because they bring the crowd, they put that quote unquote status on the church.
Yeah.
But then everybody else gets, lowballed and treated like,
that ain't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. So you were able to see that firsthand, like, as a musician. Now, a lot of people don't know this about Craig, and most people in 𝗪𝗺 in Georgetown know that Craig is a scholar, like, concerning the Bible. This man of God preaches, he teaches, like, fluently the word of God, even to the point he's been to seminars and trainings and things like that. So, what would you say is the most, other than as the musician side, what is it that you will say that preachers and pastors manipulate the saints, other than money that you've talked about? What have they manipulated the saints about? Like, what are some things that you believe that the saints are just very naive
in people, the pastors or leaders in the church, controlling their lives outside of the church, to the fact of, and some of it comes down to money. They want to keep a grip on the people, and they look as the people as they're their members, they own them. And a lot of it, I believe, stems from that mentality that was set in stone in the church.
Yeah.
Church was established here.
Yeah.
America. And because we know churches were established on plantations.
Yeah.
So what we saw then was the control and manipulation from master, the owner, the plantation owner. A lot of the pastors took on that same ego, that same mentality of, you belong to me. You can't go here, you can't go there. You do as I say, you do what I tell you to do, you go where I tell you to go.
And how do you think that, I did not cut you off? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
And how do you think that cultivated? Speaking of, let me answer this question. Speaking of manipulation, how was the musician told how to manipulate the congregation with the music?
And with that, you got a lot of revivalists or evangelists. They travel with their musicians, their own set musicians. And as we know in the Bible day, when they wanted to do anything, whether it was to from driving out spirits to setting a certain atmosphere. I mean, when you study music, you understand that music sets a certain tone.
Yeah.
And when you play certain chords, it can put you in a place of almost like a trance. And it's in one of the things that I studied recently in one of the last courses that I did at Harvard Divinity was about omens, oracles, and prophecies, and the use of how prophets and oracles and omens use music to do divination. And when you play certain music, certain chords, get people to a certain place, and you get them high in their emotions.
Yeah.
You bring a certain tone of music. Now you got their spirits open. And now you're in a place where I can come in and manipulate you to give and tell you this. And the musician helps that preacher set that atmosphere to pretty much put people in an emotional place or mental state to be pretty much subject to whatever that preacher or evangelist is asking them to do.
Yeah.
So well,
I think you kind of just educated me on the trance. I knew that, music has a certain response, like when we hear like Genuine and when we hear all these songs, like there is a certain response that we naturally have. And it doesn't even matter how many times that song is remade. We still don't have that same natural response. But I did not know concerning the oracle. And that's just very, very ironic. Now, when it came to more of your studies, what have you learned that you've taken away from your courses that you've taken concerning, I know that we briefly spoken, like, you've been to Bishop Bernard's seminars and Larry Reed's and things like that, of learning how deception is used from leaders. How do you feel about pastors who say they're really not manipulating, that they can't see it? What is it that you think that they can come out of that? Like, how do you think they can come out of that?
They can come out of it by realizing that the people of God don't, for one, they don't belong to you. You are put in place to be a shepherd over a people that God have assigned to you.
Yeah.
But because they are assigned to you don't mean that they belong to you.
Yeah.
One of my friends that's a pastor, one of the things that I heard him say to his congregation, even as a young pastor that's 30 years old, it made me feel good to hear him being so young in a space and telling his congregation that I'm not here to police your lives and control you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, like, we've all experienced.
Yeah.
Where we going to church and singing stuff.
Yeah.
But it's good that some pastors, they don't want to be in that place of controlling the people.
Yeah.
I believe that's one of the reasons why his church and his ministry is growing as rapidly as it is, because people can come and really be in a place of liberty, a place of freedom.
Yeah.
Worship God and not have to deal with the nuances or the seances of church.
Yeah.
And be, controlled and, manipulated and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So they have to, these pastors have to get to a place and a lot of it, I heard Bishop S.Y. Younger said something that is so true, that a pastor without a pastor is a dangerous person. And that's the problem with a lot of the ones who are controlling. They feel like they don't need anybody over them to them. or keep them in line. So when you don't have that leadership to say, hey, you're out of line, then you're going to always feel like you're right. You're going to always feel like we should never be in a place, no matter how high we are in leadership. Feel like, we're never wrong, or we can't do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing.
That's good. And I think sometimes we don't realize that part, we don't realize that. And I want to pivot back about where you went to your the seminars you went to. Oh, great question. Why do you think people allow themselves to be in a situation of being controlled or manipulated? That's good. How you say that? Sierra or Cairo? Is it Cairo?
I think that a lot of people, they don't. I wouldn't say that a lot of people allow themselves. I think because it's something that's been generationalized from generation to generation. We have seen people, because mom and dad were controlled, grandma and granddaddy were controlled.
Hello, don't even know
it. In the household, so you thought it was right because you were controlled and manipulated to a certain aspect at home, and then saw it happening in the church. It became a norm, and I think a lot of people aren't, aware of that they are being controlled or manipulated.
What are the telltale signs that people can look for in churches when they're being manipulated? What are some of those things?
Some of the signs would be, your leadership wanting to have, I would say, access or control to every aspect of your life. Your job as my leader is to give me the word. If I'm wrong or out of place, correct me. But to patrol my life to a sense of telling me, down to some of them tell them where to work, where to live. There was that special about the American gangsters, the females, and that female bishop from Pennsylvania down to Florida, how the scams and that she ran controlling these women's lives. And it's crazy how they use God
as a scam. That's the wild part, because I think we don't even go to find out for ourselves what it should be, what the word is intended for, what the positions of a pastor, a prophet, a teacher is. We just take the word of a pastor and we go on and we're like, that's right. And then when somebody like me or you come and say, like, why do you believe what you believe? You have no answer. You have no response. It's just more so of, well, pastor said it. And that to me is weird, because everything else we have answers for, when we're at our job, why we do a process, why we have a SOP or whatever it may be. But when it comes to God and in church, we don't have reasons. We just have it that it's the man of God said it. The man of God, he's the reason why, we should be doing this.
And I would say,
go ahead.
Too, that one of the biggest things that they use is what was used on our people during slavery and oppression. Was they used the Bible, that they'll stand in the pulpit, take that same Bible, obey them that have rule over you. So if you do anything other than what you were told to do, you're in the wrong and you're rebelling against your leader. It's better to obey than sacrifice. They use those scriptures as a point of manipulation and control.
And that is, I think that's what we've done to our children and our family members, whatever, when it comes to God. I believe we've just instilled that type of fear, and that's not what God is. He's not. Now, don't get him wrong. You should respect them. You should respect him and all of his entities and her entities, because that is a part of it too. However, I think we instill so much fear. I want to pivot back to the point of you went to I saw your pictures. What are mirror talkers? What are some of the experience you guys have had in the church with manipulations? So manipulation in the church. So guys, open-ended question for you guys and you know, Craig and myself. And I want you guys to answer this in the comments too. You don't have to be deep about it, but what are some of y'all experiences with manipulation? What are some of the experience, you know, you guys have had? And I'll start with Craig. Have you had any personal experience outside of, you know, I know with me, I can start with me. Like when it came to my relationship, people wanting to control who I date, how it looks. And this is something beyond me being, you know, gay, but who I'm going to date and why I should date them, and how it's not a good look being a pastor's kid, and how it's going to make my dad and my mom look bad of who I date. And so the church had a lot of questions concerning who I dated. Did you have any personal experience about you, other than like the musician life of like pure manipulation you didn't know till afterwards?
One of the things that, you know, I experienced in a heart-to-heart conversation with a pastor, and understanding that the form of manipulation was there, was making it seem like if I didn't do, you know, what she wanted, or when she felt like it should be done, you know, it was like I didn't love her. I didn't have her heart.
Oof.
And that putting on that emotion and things of that nature to manipulate, to try to guilt you into feeling like why you should give a certain thing they want you to give, or do a certain thing they want you to do.
And wow, that's real, because a lot of pastors like to jump to the conclusion of, well, you don't have your leader's heart if you can't do.
Yeah.
And that is not the truth. The thing is that we are oh, KV, that is good. Tithing is one of the main manipulation. That part, absolutely. When it comes to it, they don't teach you how to tithe nor sow correctly. They will teach you how to go broke by taking all your money for selfish gain.
That is correct.
Man to God, you are right on tonight. I'm not even gonna sit here and I can't even comment on that, because it's been abused so much, KB.
Oh yeah.
To the point where tithing, was specifically to restore the house, you know, the church, the bills, you know, all this stuff is actually, you know, up and running. It needs to be functioning, you know. So that is actually the main reason, because to restore the storehouse. However, I'm a little at a difference with it, because now pastors are doing these pledges and things like that. And I'm not speaking against it. I'm not speaking against it at all, because I do believe that's a way to fundraise. However, some churches are doing these pledges and knowing they don't need it. They just want more money. And that's where your greed and the selfish gain, as you spoke of, KB, that's when it comes in. So I absolutely agree with that, Craig.
And oftentimes, too, with all of these pledges and fundraisers and stuff that goes on, a lot of the pastors will say, well, I don't take a salary from the ministry or things of that nature, but behind closed doors, you know, the pastor, you know, the members don't know it, because they want to maintain that, oh, I'm doing this from my heart, and
right,
you know, so that when anniversary time come around or Christmas time come around, and when the church, you know, the pastor aid committee asks you to give that $500 seed or $1,000 seed because pastor doesn't take an offering.
Child. Child. Is this it, and what gets me, or they don't use the resources wisely and just ask for them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Really hit the
Yeah.
nail on the head with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't use the resources correctly.
Yeah.
And they may be using it for, what's some things y'all think that the church uses the resources for other than, you know, pocketing it? Like, what else? Like, that they, how would you think they would need to use the resources? I love Whitney's founding church back home in Charlotte. They ended up, this is a way of using it wisely. They opened up babe, type it, like a storehouse where you store goods. So the church ended up buying a property next to the church. There was a house on it, food pantry. Thank you. And there was a house on it, but they basically redid it and turned it into a food pantry for the community. Now that I love that they did. That was something to use your resources for. Tell them, and the thing is, people don't tell the church. They be lying. They don't be telling you what the resource is really for. They just say we need the money.
You know, we got building fund going on for the last 10 years, and the roof's still leaking.
And the carpet
need to be painted.
You walk up in the church, you like,
oh yeah.
Where's all that money going to? I know I'm tithing and I'm paying. Honey, that carpet stank. Lord, just walking in there. But I want to pivot back to the point of what's some of the things that I love that you mentioned on the phone. Excuse me, y'all. Y'all know I'm short. I gotta sit upright. You went to Larry Reed and kind of learned some things with the teaching. What are some things that you learned that could help, or what did you learn overall, period, when you went to the what was it, Craig?
The Reformation Conference.
I couldn't remember that word for nothing. Yeah. I was forgetting those.
Some of the things that we learned was how to financially better ourselves.
Yeah.
And to better ourselves in health and in wellness. And because one of the things that Larry teaches us is that money is the lowest form of prosperity.
Come on, sir.
And, you know, if that's the low end of the stick, you know, but also to be prosperous is to be in good health.
Yeah.
You know, be in good mental standing.
Yeah.
Expand your thinking, expand your education, you know, go beyond, you know, just what you're taught over the pulpit, and, you know, pick up the Bible for yourself and learn and study and dive deep.
What are some of the things you personally learned in the Bible that was manipulated and that was incorrect? Because that's something that I don't think we've talked about. We've talked about it on the phone, but like, what are some of the things that you've learned?
Some of the things that I've learned, you know, through my own personal study, and, you know, through you know, Reed as a mentor and others, is when we look at the control and who wrote, you know, especially this KJV Bible, the King James Version, and understanding why it was written and the way that it was written to make, you know, the white race seem supremacist and to shadow that slavery was right, you know, because even though the Bible, you know, justifies slavery to, you know, that extent of how they wanted to paint it, if that was the case, we would still be enslaved today.
Yeah.
You know, in reality, some of our people are, because their mindset, you know, they came out of Israel, but their minds were still there. I mean, I'm sorry, they came out of Egypt, but their mind was still in Egypt.
Yeah.
Still in bondage. And you see a lot of people today that their mind is still stuck in a place of bondage. They don't want to come up. But if you come up, then you are a problem. But, you know, because they choose to stay stuck.
Come on.
But you choose to expand and expound yourself into deeper and greater things, it becomes an issue.
And it's funny that when you learn more about the Bible, right, and you enlighten yourself and you become more evolved, concerning the teachers of the Bible. The saints are so quick, and I can't even call them saints. The people are so quick to call you out and rebuke you for something they have not yet learned context to.
Exactly. And they did the same thing to Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. They questioned him on everything from marriage. They questioned him to healing and teaching on the Sabbath. They, like when he went to, when he came into Jericho after he had healed the blind man.
Yeah.
He ready to leave out of Jericho.
Yeah.
There was Zacchaeus. And, he told Zacchaeus, I was coming to your house. They did made accusation that he was going to be amongst the sinner.
Yeah.
Because Zacchaeus was a liar.
Yeah.
They will accuse you in every aspect when they don't understand who you are or what you are, but it's not for them to understand. A lot of people have to stop allowing others' thought process of who and what you are to manipulate you to believe that you aren't what God says you are.
Yeah.
And Jesus was the prime example of that. Even when they questioned him, they said, who do you think you are? The king. And he said, well, I didn't say that, you said it.
Yeah.
And pretty much the same, you know who I am, but you don't want to accept me for who I am because of where I came from.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they want to control the narrative and the aspect of your life and where you go.
Yeah.
How you get there.
But not realizing it's just their job to help you get there.
Yeah.
Not realizing that it's not your job to nickel and dime it. It's not your job to literally put their life or put your life under a microscope. It's not your job.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Sarah Jake's saying. I don't care what the church say about that saying. That is a very true saying, because if you have to bypass what you think or what your mama and your daddy and your grandma have taught you that church look like, it's okay. Go ahead. Because I've learned so much more since I've been not in a traditional church. I've learned so much. And I think you have too, because I believe you still play, right?
Yeah, still play sometimes.
Yeah, every now. See?
Yeah.
Because when you play, are you even able to is that part of the reason why you kind of stopped taking engagements too?
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah.
The churches.
Because of like what they're preaching, and like I don't want to hear that stuff. Because once you get to a place of being fed in a certain aspect and hearing a certain level and digression of teaching, once you graduated from that baby food to that table food, you don't want to hear that basic surface stuff anymore, and you want to hear stuff with substance.
Yeah. I want to answer 𝗹𝗶𝘀𝘁𝗲, I think that's how you said 𝗪𝗵. Question. He said, because I'm not going to say he or she, I can't really tell, but because there are so many gray areas in the Bible, what do you do when you get to the point of not wanting to dive into the word, but you really want to be a student of the word? Woo!
Yeah.
That's a good question.
You find somebody that is worthy of being a student of. And there's a lot of people that aren't, that's not worthy of you sitting at their table and being a student of what they're teaching or what they're having to say. And it's hard, to find those who are able to go beyond the surface and really dig deep.
Yeah.
And give you what you need.
Yeah. Because some people really don't.
At you as well. You should know this because you've been in the church, but they look at you and say, I'm going to walk you through a process of forgetting everything that you've been taught. Yeah. Because 90% of everything that you've been taught has been wrong.
Oof.
And who the church has presented God to you to be, he's far greater.
Yeah.
and far more
Yeah.
than what they're showing you.
Yeah.
Aspect of fear and like you said, we have to respect him.
Yeah.
But teaching people this, sending them to hell over every little thing, and just throwing them fear. We're not really teaching people who God is, who Jesus is, and what his purpose was. His purpose wasn't to come and condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Yeah.
Push people away from the church because of how they look, how they dress, who they choose to be with in their lives.
Yeah.
We push people away because they don't walk the same walk we walk, or talk the same talk, or come from a certain background.
Yeah.
Because of that, they get frowned on.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you saw those things like I saw coming up in the church when people came in and they didn't look to be of a certain wealth or in a certain family. They got funny looks in the church, or didn't get greeted with kindness or love.
Come on. Yeah.
Some people being treated one way and others being treated another.
Yeah.
But that's not what Jesus did.
Yeah.
That's what he was persecuted for.
Yeah.
Being amongst the sinners, being amongst those who weren't so perfect. He said, my ministry is to go out and let them know I am here to redeem and to save you.
Yeah. He can save.
Yep. That's what he said. If I be lifted up, I would draw. And the problem is we want to draw people because of our own motives.
That's good. When humans were never given the power to save other humans.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's beyond good. Like I think, and it used to hurt my heart coming up in the church when people were just being so judged and condemned for just everything. And I'm like, well, dang, like you don't leave room for nothing. Like for people to mess up for nothing. And I agree with Ashley's comment. Stop preaching about love, faith, and giving. Period. I don't want to hear about it no more. Listen, we know we supposed to give. We know what, but teach me something else. 𝗪𝗏 Dudley. As pastors, it's my job to catch the fish, not clean them. Too many people are trying to do God's job. Listen, absolutely.
Can I say this about Pastor Dudley?
I'm
going to put him on the spot and say he's that pastor I was talking about that takes that position as a pastor. As he said, it's my job to catch them, not to clean them.
Yeah.
Hear him say to his members that, I'm not here to patrol or police your lives in that aspect.
Absolutely.
He speaks of his integrity and his humanity as a pastor, that, I'm here to shepherd you, to feed you, teach you, but God would do everything else.
Yeah.
It's my job to give you the word, but God will do everything else. Because if we're lifting him up, he's going to draw them in. And once he saves them, he'll do what's needed in their lives.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We are simply supposed to be pointing people to God and being a community for them. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're just so focused on, we think we're pointing to God and we're not a community for people. Community, I remember community back in the day, no matter what you went through, they were there. They didn't judge you. They took your kids in. You know what I'm saying? The church is not like that anymore. Like I literally heard someone as growing up, like was saying, like, I'm not gonna watch them kids, they're bastards. Like, what? Like, huh? They're kids. And I have to commend Pastor Dudley. First of all, man of God, thank you. Thank you for allowing your church to be a safe haven. A safe haven for people to simply be people, not to be who they're called to be, and not by their titles, but just simply being people. And that is, we need more churches, like that. We need more people like you. Because the truth is, people are leaving the church. People are not after COVID, people are not staying in the church. So for you to continue to take your stance while in the church, I believe it's easy for you to do it outside the church as well. So Pastor Dudley, thank you so much for being one of those churches, because we need that. We need safe haven spaces. Yep. People go to church and leave feeling worse than they came. Absolutely. And that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart, Ashley, because a lot of the people who are hurt and are who no longer goes to church is because of church hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The people who never want to go back, and or we look at them living a certain type of lives, it's because they've been hurt in the church.
Yeah.
And that is a hard pill to swallow. I said something to my mother coming back from Thanksgiving, and we were in Tennessee. And I said, why can't the church be like testers? You know, when they put products out, and if it don't work for some, you got to recall it. You got to bring it back. You got to bring it all the way back. And my mom was like, what? I said, listen, we can tell that the product of the church is the fruit it bears. I think my wife said that earlier in the comments. That is the thing.
Yeah. If
you don't see the people that came from these staple churches in South Carolina doing well, and you're hearing things and their fruit isn't worth nothing, that let you know hey, maybe we mistaught something. Maybe it's something that we didn't quite, because first of all, let me make it very clear. People are gonna be people. Like, we can't control people. But when people take the same leadership roles and teach the same things, and the fruit is tainted, we have to go back and be like, okay, all right. Did we get it right? Did we get it right? Did we? Like, it should be a question mark. And I think the church is just so sure that everything they're teaching is right. The church is not teachable. The saints are not teachable. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
They're not teachable.
And that goes to what the Bible says about having that wise counsel.
Yeah.
And pastors having pastors. That way, if you aren't teaching something right, or something's not being done right, there's somebody that's over you that can say, hey, you're out of line on this, or maybe you need to go back and revisit that and reproach this way. Take another look at, what you taught on, or, what you preach to your congregation, so that people are getting fed exactly what they need and getting it the right way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the teachers, the pastors, can't teach the right way because they haven't honestly been taught themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that and I'm not coming here to bash any preachers or pastors, but the truth is simply this. You ain't got to go to school, and everybody ain't got the means to go to school, and it's okay. But you need to go through some type of course training. Go to a seminar, something to enhance you. Someone who has gotten taught, someone who has went to the Harvards and the Dukes. Like, go there and be absolutely.
Yeah.
Dang dong. Pastors should not be self-taught.
Exactly.
I don't care. Do not listen. If you sit here, and I'm not being funny, y'all.
Pastor Dudley said a mouthful.
Pastors must have pastors. Don't tell me who you cover until you show me who covers you. Who can check you? Come on.
That's right.
Listen, I gotta see who you come from. And I'm not, and like I said, I do not believe pastors should be self-taught. Like, absolutely. Because what do you have?
Yeah.
What do you have? If you're being taught, you need to place yourself under someone who has been taught, from people who's written your Bibles, who has done deep research into what we believe in. That's the thing. And I had to be honest with, and y'all, I'm transparent. My own mother, I say, you need to go to somebody's seminar. You need to go, because this generation right here, we questioning everything. We're questioning everything. That's right. They're not asking themselves if they got it right, because they don't care if it's right or wrong. And that's the truth. pause right there. Keep that comment right there. The truth is, I'm realizing some of these pastors just don't care what they're teaching.
Yeah.
Like, they do not care that you're, like, you like, what? It's what, like, what? Like, it's whatever serves them or benefits them. Manipulation. They'll use scriptures to back up their wrongdoing. Absolutely. I need you to go to school and I need you to see where you have served. Where you have served and still held accountable. Listen, I need to see. And I'm not saying and understand, I do understand that it's a privilege for some to go to school. Absolutely. And if you don't got it, you don't got it. But there's more than enough resources. It's 2022. There's more than enough resources for you to dive in to what you're teaching and having the proper resources. You have it, like, it's there. You could pay online for courses to learn proper doctrine. Literally. But y'all will use that same money to get Gucci and Louis knockoffs to pay for a doggone freaking fake ordination license. That's what y'all would rather do. I'm done. Cause that thing be getting me. Y'all rather pay money. Pay money to get some fake ordination papers from whoever than to go under somebody's seminar.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Because y'all want the title more than y'all want the actual substance. That's the problem. Y'all be sitting there just want that stuff. Y'all don't understand that stuff comes with so much.
Yeah.
And that is because they have people that follow them that will eat everything that is being served to them with no question asked. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I question your leadership if I can't ask you questions.
Yeah.
If I ask you a question and you don't know, your answer should be I don't know, but I'm gonna get back to you.
We should go back to Bible study the old way, where you have that ability to stop the pastor and ask the question. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
They need to bring back to that.
Oh yeah.
I really do, and that is because yes, they're like, we don't question leaders no more, and I wonder, and that is a actual telltale sign of why that is manipulation.
Yeah,
that's actually why I can't. That's why I'm in nobody's church right now. Because I can't deal with it. Listen, what would be something that you would tell the people what to look out for, and how I already asked what to look out for, but if they don't get certain answers, what are some of those questions that you think people deserve answers in? And if they don't get it, what should they do?
People deserve answers in the faith that's coming, the faith and the teachings that are coming across the pulpit in the church that they sit in as a member. You know, if you want to learn more about something, to know something, you should be able to approach the pastor. And, you know, if not in a Bible study setting, you know, maybe in a one-on-one after church, and say, I want to know more about this. You know, can you expound more or give me more on this? And if they don't have that knowledge or ability to, then, you know, then ask the question, you know, well, how can I? You know, if they can't give you the answers, you know, then that's a telltale sign that, you know, maybe they're not a studier of the word. And, you know, when we look at the gifts of the church that God gave, as far as apostles and prophets and evangelists and pastors and teachers, when we go back and look at that in the original context, pastors and teachers is considered to be one office, not two separate offices. Because how can you be a pastor if you're not a teacher? You got to have, pastor must be apt to teach.
Yeah.
If you can't teach, you should not be pastor. If you can't break down that word and digress that word to give people an understanding of what you are giving them, then
I need y'all to say that in the comments. If you can't teach, you can't pass them. Period. If you can't listen, Ashley, I love this question because this is a really great question. What are the consequences of serving leadership or being in a ministry that is manipulative and controlling?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Do you want to go first?
What was the question?
The question was, what are the consequences of serving leadership or being in a ministry that is manipulative and controlling?
The consequences are exactly what Whitney said. One is being traumatized.
Yeah.
Because you're going to always be stuck. You're going to always be in a place of not being able to experience God for who and what he is.
Yeah.
You're going to always be in a place of lack.
Yeah.
If your congregation is in a place of lack, then that means that you as a pastor aren't teaching your people the tools that they need to prosper.
Yeah.
That is not my will that my people should lack.
Yeah.
Not his will. We should be giving our people the tools that they need to structure themselves, teach them how to tithe correctly, how to give correctly, and the manipulation that comes behind that, because we teach the first part of that scripture about giving in the good ground, and but we don't teach the second part of that scripture where the disciples asked the question, well, Jesus would break this thing down to us.
Yeah.
Being stony ground and thorny ground.
Yeah.
And he expounded that thing to them. If your seed is falling on thorny ground, it means that the people that surround you suffocate you. So what's going on?
Oof.
You got yourself surrounded by people that's suffocating the life out of you. So your seed is falling on thorny ground, which means the word, you're hearing the word, but it's not taking effect because you're surrounded by people that's suffocating you. He made it clear, in order for your seed to fall on good ground, you got to be in a place where the word, you're hearing that word, and that word is coming in and taking effect. It's taking root. You're growing. Because money is the lowest form of prosperity. And if there's growth in the mindset, then there's going to be growth in your wealth, growth in your health.
Yeah.
Every aspect of your life.
It is unto me. Yeah. I had to take that because that's so true. Like, listen, when you truly, when you grow, and that's the result of coming out of a manipulative church and a controlling church. You see, when you come out of it, you experience and you take the right mindset and able to grow in different areas. And your mindset begins to change. You view life, you view money, you view religion, you view your faith completely different. You have a different scope. And I love the point that you made. Traumatized congregations, you never get over. There are people I know truly to this day that will not step foot back in the church. Because you have had pastors and just leaders misusing and using the Bible to get sex, using the Bible to get money, using the Bible to get everything.
Oh yeah.
Literally, once they got out, they will never step back. And now you've given them real life trauma.
Oh yeah.
And now these people don't even know how to get back to God because of your irresponsible behavior. Because
they sold and gave and seeded, because these pastors said, this is good ground. You need to give. You need to seed. You need to sow. But if we really teach the people the power of their seed. Yeah, come on. It starts with first knowing who you are.
Yeah.
In the spirit, knowing who you are in God, and then taking the word and letting that word take root without
Yeah.
rebellion, without being offended.
Yeah.
And see, that's the problem why a lot of people can't grow, is because a lot of people preach with offense. They preach with slam over the pulpit because they want to hurt certain people.
Yeah.
They want to bring shame. But when that, as Jesus told them, when that word comes and you hear it and it takes root, now you're that good ground.
Yeah.
Wherever you seed. That's why the Bible says, one soweth, another man watereth.
Yeah.
God gives the increase.
Yeah.
And when we get in that place, you know,
that's it. It's only up from there. You see you literally see a transformation. Your marriage, your job. You're gonna see prosperity in every area. But a lot of and we're gonna close, I promise. But a lot of us are experiencing a lot of downfalls and a lot of a lot of low moments because we aren't in a place and willing to grow.
Yeah.
Like, we are literally starving. We have an unhappy household. We have an unhappy job. We're unhappy because you have not placed yourself. May that be around people. May that be a setting. May that be your home being peace, in a place to allow peace to reign. And when you allow that peace to reign, baby, ain't nothing, ain't no one, and can't no one mess that up. Can't nobody come and interfere with that. So I like anything like you want to leave the people with, Craig, because you done said a lot today. Anything that you really want to leave the people with tonight?
I will leave them with that there is hope. That you know, you don't have to stay in, you don't have to stay under leadership that's manipulative, that's controlling, that even as Sarah Jake said, even if it takes a season of your life or bypassing the church to get to God, then you know, bypass the church if necessary to build a stronger relationship with Him, which means stay prayerful, stay in the Word, study, and then when you can find a congregation you can be a part of, that's, and a lot of times the problems aren't always the leadership. A lot of times it's the people that's sitting in the pews.
That's
the bigger issue. In that, but they'll make it seem like it's the pastor or the first lady or whoever that's the issue in the church. But a lot of times it's the people. And sadly, those people are a reflection of the leadership. And they give those leaders a bad name when there's bad sheep that's sitting, you know.
Because they don't even be the leader sometimes. It be the sheep.
Yeah.
The sheep won't mind their business. The sheep. This is a good question. Pastor Dudley, I like you. Why do individuals who were manipulated at a church won't give any church another try? However, when we have a bad experience at a place of business, restaurant, we just go to a different place. Oh, a different business. And I'm going to answer Whitney. I think she answered, but I have my own answer. See, food you don't like it. You ain't like, you pay for it. All right. You ain't never got to go back. It's real surface. Like, whatever. It doesn't really physically cause you a harm. But I think it's because we were taught to expect more from people who claim to represent God. That's good. That's really good. I think for me, I will say for me, and Craig, you can answer it as well, and we're really gonna close. I think eating at a restaurant is very surface. It's very surface, like it's food. All right, it ain't hurting us. You know, we ain't like it. Oh well, we can move on. But when you go to a church and they hurt you and now they've caused impact. Now they've caused damage. Now, if we went to a restaurant and we got food poisoning, somebody might be like, I'm gonna sue you. See, now there's been harm done. So for me, I will say it's easy to give a restaurant a new try because it didn't harm you. But when you go to church and people hurt you, It's hard. It's hard to bounce back from that experience at not, I'm not gonna say at another church, because you know I would implore people to go to another church, you know, try to shop and realize that it was people who did that, not God, but people who did that. So understand that. But then you have to realize, just like a car wreck, it's hard. It's hard to get back in a car once you've gotten an accident. You nervous, you anxious, you all of that. So that would be my response. Craig, what about you?
I got a couple different responses. One would be, I think sometimes they see who those leaders are associated with, sometimes because of fellowships or reformations, and they feel like, well, if that pastor in this reformation or leadership is that way, then you know all of these folks who've been coming and fellowshipping, they're going to be that way. Some of them is just their excuse not to go to church at all anymore.
Yeah.
So they use that as, you know, that pastor hurt me, they're all gonna hurt me. I'm just gonna go home with church, and they use that as an excuse to say, well, I'm not gonna, you know,
that's
try
true.
Try that church again. You know, try church at all.
That's true, because the thing is,
you know, we go to Texas Roadhouse and have a bad experience there, but we might not go back to that one.
But we gonna go to another one.
But we gonna go to another one because we love them porterhouse steaks.
Yes, because you still love God. You gonna go back because you want to do some God. You want to get closer, and that's the key right there. Like you, just because they hurt you, you know, you still gotta find a way to get back to God. And no, do we understand? Like, and yes, know that we understand that it's hard. I want to I think KV said it. He said, because it's hard to open up your spirit again and trust. That hurt goes deep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you need a break, you need a break, but don't stay out too long. Don't stay out too long, because we all have to remember that we all have things designed to our hands, to our name. And there are certain people that are signed to us. I love the fact that, you know, and this is something I always tell y'all, some of the trauma my mom told me, or, you know, kind of instilled in me. But this is one thing that I will always take from her, and I want you guys to take it. I am a female. KV aunt, baby, sugar, puff. I'm so sorry. Honey, I'm so sorry. Okay, I didn't know. You ain't got your picture tiny. And I can't even, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Listen, Pastor Dudley, yes, thank you so much. We appreciate you interacting. Listen, tune in. I loved how you came in and you know, just came in. You came in. I mean, you came in. I loved it. But back to my point, we closing. Oh, Jesus Christ. My mom always said something that each and every one of us has people assigned to us. We have a calling assigned to us. We have a purpose assigned to us. And imagine when we stop, those people are delayed in some way. The people that are assigned to us are delayed because we have now kind of, when we give up on God, sometimes we delay that encounter that they should have from us. And so I want you guys to remember that do not stop going to church because of the people. But if you got to get to God another way, get to him another way. And know that those people who are, Whitney, don't do that. Whitney got me together, y'all. Listen, I truly believe that. Whitney, put that comment there. Because I do believe that sometimes it's just delayed. I do. Like, Whitney said I'm wrong. Craig, what you think? Am I wrong? Rebuke me. Am I wrong? I'm wrong? Tell me. Rebuke me, because this is what it's for. Am I wrong? Because if I'm wrong, Craig, get me together.
What's she calling you wrong on?
She said that's not theologically sound, though. What you mean?
About being called for others?
we as humans don't have the power to divert God's plans.
No.
See, now you got me thinking. Now you got me on the mirror talk thinking. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you going to school. You tell me after we get off this live, and I come on and make another live.
That I would say that is true. We don't have the power to divert his plans, because he said what he told Jeremiah. He said, I knew you before you were, conforming your mother's, womb. And one of the things about that scripture,
girl.
One of the things about that scripture, I think a lot of people miss, and we quote it so freely, and saying that when he said, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, but to give you an expected end. We say that as, I know God's plan for me. But what a lot of people don't look at the context of that scripture, because when he told them that, they were being sent into bondage. They were being sent through a time of tribulation. And that's why we have to be careful how we speak certain things or certain quotes from the scripture just over our lives so willy-nilly and freely, and not understanding why God was telling them what he was telling them.
You better get me together on the live. I love this.
He was telling them that because no matter what you experience through this season of tribulation, through this season of trouble, I know the plans that I have for you. And those are thoughts of peace, not of evil, but to give you an expected end. So hold on to knowing that going through these trials, there is an expected end.
I love this. Y'all better, Craig and Whitney, y'all are just me.
And then Peter came back and reaffirmed that thing, said, count it not strange concerning the fiery trials that are to try you, as though some strange things has happened, but rejoice in as much as you are partakers of Christ's suffering. Then Paul came and reassured us in Ephesians, the first chapter, when he wrote the letter to the Ephesians, that we have an inheritance.
Yeah.
Well, all of our going through was not in vain, but it's that expected end that we're all looking for.
Y'all done got me together. Y'all better get me together. You know what? This is what it's for. If I say something wrong, get me together. You and Whitney, okay? I love it. You know what? I'm going to move on because y'all done got me together. I'm going to take my rebuke because guess what? That's what he said, and I got people informing me. And that's what the church should do. Y'all saw that? This is what y'all should do right here in front of everybody. I was wrong. They made a point. See? Take note, church.
And it was done with love.
It was, come on! It was done with love. But y'all saints, ooh, they done make me mad. Pastor Dudley said interesting. Oh, that made me tilt my head. Interesting. Listen, Craig, it's been amazing having you on. I know you typically don't nobody laugh. I know you don't, and I appreciate it so much. I thank you so much. Listen, everybody in the comments, thank you so much. Ashley, KV, Pastor Dudley, Wit, aka Tech, aka my wife. Thank you. I appreciate you, Craig, so much for it. I thank you for enlightening me. I thank you for teaching the people about the ways to identify manipulation, what it looks like, and also what it feels like, how to move through it and what to look for. And most of all, telling them not to give up on God through it. A lot of us get manipulated and we give up. So I appreciate that. Listen, each and every one of y'all share, like, comment. I told y'all, if y'all ain't gonna give to that Cash App, share. A share is free. Y'all understand me? A share was free. Don't cost you nothing. Just $0. Just a button. Share it. Thank you. Because I'm trying to win. I want everybody to win. Thank you again, Craig. I appreciate you so much. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Hey, Felicia, you gonna watch the replay, girl, because we almost done. I know you probably was doing something, but I love you. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, because you be telling me to go on Instagram. We working it out, okay? We're working it out. Y'all, I love y'all, each and every one of y'all so much. Thank you guys for supporting, tuning in to Marriage Talks with Lay. And I'm Lay. Thank y'all, Craig. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love you dearly, brother. Thank you
Love you
so
too.
much. All right, guys. Take care and share. Share. It's free. Take care, y'all.
You only got one chance with me.